If you're spending more time in the trees than the squirrels out on the golf course, then you're doing something wrong. Consistently hitting accurate, straight golf shots is all about club face control, and I'm going to teach you exactly how you can do it and the key pitfalls to look out for in this video. Before we get started, subscribe so you never miss a free lesson. I pop them out every single week to help you play better golf, and check out the description for coaching and free training to play way better. Where the club face aims at the moment of impact is the number one factor determining where the golf ball will go. It determines over 80% of initial start direction on a driver. If you get the club face angle wrong by a mere 6 degrees, the ball can go over 50 yards offline on a 250-yard golf shot. Imagine a clock face. 6 degrees is 1 minute on a clock face. It is a tiny, minuscule amount. Imagine being just 1 minute of a clock face off from where your club face aims. That is absolutely tiny. It's such a small amount. The tiniest twitch in the club face can result in that ball going massively offline. So it's absolutely critical for you to be able to control this club face angle to hit straight shots. Now you're probably wondering how you can control this club face so accurately in a golf swing where you're swinging it potentially well over 100 miles an hour. It's incredibly difficult. So that is why we're going to look here at how you can control the club face before you even start swinging, because this is the biggest game here, the lowest hanging fruit. I constantly see golfers get this wrong at setup. Even a minuscule amount makes a huge difference to where the club face aims. If you have it just marginally open like so, look how far right that's pointing. Whereas if we have it nice and square, it's a very slight adjustment and difference there in how the club face looks from the top. One of the biggest reasons golfers struggle with getting the club face perfectly square at setup so that they can then have it square at impact is because they don't actually know what square looks like when they're standing over the golf ball. They've never practiced it. Take your golf ball here to the edge of the driving range mat, just in the corner. And we're going to pick a target right in front of us. I'm picking the white flag dead in front. And I'm going to set up to this golf ball, trying to hit it perfectly straight over that white flag with what feels like a square club face for me. Now, once I'm set up and I'm about to hit, I'm going to take that club face away from behind the ball and I'm going to place it behind the driving range mat. I'll reset myself as if I'm going to strike the mat. Make sure when the club is resting behind the mat, the heel end of the club right at the edge of the hosel here is just right on the edge of the mat there, and it's tucked right up against it. Now I'm going to look very closely to see if there's a gap here between the mat and any part of the club. Now you'll notice that there's actually a small gap between the toe of my club and the edge of the mat. This tells me that my club face here is slightly open. It's twisted to the right ever so slightly. Now this is probably around 12, 15 degrees to the right. This is quite excessive actually in this one. So I'm now going to just square this up to the mat so that the club face is perfectly flush to this mat, and then I'm going to take it and place it right behind the golf ball. Now I know that the club face is perfectly square. Now before we think we've figured it out here, there's one thing to be very cautious of. We need to make sure that our mat is actually pointing in the right direction. So the center line of the mat here, I want to make sure it's actually pointing directly at my target, which it is in this case. So that's perfect. And now I can make sure that when the club face is square to the mat, it's actually going to be square to the golf ball. If you get this wrong, however, you could be aligning to the wrong target. So just be aware. I want you to practice this a number of times. First, addressing the golf ball, trying to get it square to a target line directly in front of you. And then we're going to address right behind the mat here, trying to get the club face flush against the mat. Then we take it back behind the golf ball. Get really used to what a perfectly square face actually looks like here. Now I'm going to hit a golf ball from the center of the mat right over the white flag in front. I'm going to get the club face perfectly square behind this golf ball now. After that practice with the mat, I should have a really good visual for this. And I'm going to use the yellow cross here that's on the mat as another visual aid. So I'm trying to make sure that the golf club is perfectly parallel to that line on the mat. Now we're going to have a little go. So touch to the right. I always have a tendency, by the way, to leave it a little bit open and hit it a touch right. If you find you don't actually have the space to practice this at your driving range, if the mat's right in the corner of the bay, that's perfectly fine. You can use an alignment stick. Now I'm going to place this alignment stick here perfectly parallel to the lines on the mat. So I'm making sure it is perpendicular to my target line and it's in a perfectly straight line. And it's just inside the golf ball. Now, I'm going to place the club face right across this alignment stick. And I'm making sure that it is just perfectly square with it. I'm getting setting up to that fast, getting that club face perfectly square. with the alignment stick, and then I'm going to walk into the golf ball and I'm going to strike it in the same manner, perfectly square. Then we have a go. If you want to hit the golf ball with tremendous accuracy, you must learn to control the club face very precisely. In order to do that, we need to get the club face square at impact. Get incredibly good at getting the club face square at impact. The easiest way to do that is having it square at setup. Now, in order to do that, we need to practice it. So make sure you know what a square club face actually looks like. You can use our driving range mat here or an alignment stick to practice that visual and get really comfortable with what a square face really looks like. There are so many golfers who set up to it way off square, and this can cause issues later in the swing. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the description for free training and coaching to level up your game. And if you want to continue to enhance your ability to line up the club face incredibly accurately, watch this video where we deep dive into how Tiger Woods lines up his golf shots on the course under pressure with tremendous accuracy. Thanks so much for watching. Have an incredible day.